Good morning, a warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I have two very special guests with me today, and we are going to dive into a subject that is well, I feel it's a game changer because what we're going to do is explore. Let me just go to my slide. We've had some technical issues today. There we go. So I'd like to introduce you. Let's start again. We had all these technical problems. We're recording this, so I want to get this right. So let's just pretend that was a rehearsal. And let's just, I'm just going to start that all over again. Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a great subject that we're going to dive into. And what we're going to be exploring is who is sitting in your chair. And as we are looking at this subject, this is what I have noticed. Hairdressers are facing a silent crisis. It has nothing to do with talent. And that is like, oh, wow, 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 right? So what we're going to be exploring today is who is sitting in your chair. Most hairdressers don't lack skill. They lack clarity. If you've ever second-guessed yourself before the haircut, this workshop is for you. So in the chat, just give me like thumbs up. Are you ready? Because this is about interaction today. And we're going to go into this subject in such depth that I guarantee take screen captures, take notes, apply this to your life, and you're going to see such a powerful change within your world. So let's explore how to become a 5-star hairdresser. A 1-star cuts hair. A 5-star designs identity. A 1-star hairdresser thinks technique builds a career. A 5-star knows the psychology that builds basically the empire. So we're going to first of all dive into that. It's really interesting to me because in our industry, we don't really have benchmarks for creative progression related to financial progression. And just think about this. If we were to watch a lot of gorgeous men running around a football pitch without a goal, without a referee, and they're just running around with this ball, I mean, it could be quite entertaining, but there would be no way of measuring the success of the team because there's no goalpost and there's no scorekeeping. So we're going to look at that in our business, and I think you'll find it very helpful. But before I get into the 5-star, and we're going to do a really cute quiz today, I'd like to introduce my guests. So the first guest I'd like to bring onto the platform, as she's backstage, is Vicky. Welcome, Vicky.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So Vicky's part of my art team. She's also on the team for Wella, and she's now traveling all over the place doing some exciting things. So her experience of having used the content you're about to see will be very valuable because we're going to hear from Vicky before and after and how it's changed her experience behind the chair, not only as a salon owner, but also standing behind the chair as a stylist, but now, of course, as an educator where she's sharing her knowledge. So that's super exciting. So welcome. And we also have Cosette here. And Cosette is a beautiful young lady who I'm blessed to have in my life. She's young in our industry. And already she's assisted on a photo shoot in New York. This weekend, she assisted me personally backstage at the fashion show for Milan in New York, and she was extraordinary. Welcome, Cosette.
Hi, Viv. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here this morning.
Good. Well, we want Cosette's perspective as a younger stylist coming into the industry because great beginnings last a lifetime. And if you learn it right in the very, very beginning, amazing things will happen. So thank you so much for both being here today. And they've had the pleasure of watching me freaking out behind the scenes as my computer crashed and all these other things went wrong and my camera wouldn't work. But you know what? it's showtime. So I don't want to let any of you guys down. So any comments, I'm going to have Vicky and Cosette look at in the chat to just make sure that we're answering your questions. So let's dive into our subject matter and really look at where we're going today. So we spoke about the star system. So now let's look at where we're going to go with this. A 1-star survival mode, 1 to 2 years in the business. Typical income ranges from 22,000 to 35,000. And this is research that I did here based in the United States here in 2025 and 26. 85% will quit the profession after 2 years. And that's pretty shocking. Strongest traits for our 1-star, they're in survival mode, is technical training, can turn into being a puppet, still learning the fundamentals clearly, fear-led decisions, play it safe, avoid change, avoid risks, reactive career, waits for clients, waits for opportunities, waits for confidence, learning on the job. So that's kind of the 1-star, which is fine, absolutely fine if you are 1 to 2 years in the business. That's wonderful. It's a great beginning, right? But it's not great if you are 3, 4, 5 years in the business because something is not working. So I'm going to just bring in Cosette because Cosette is going to share with us. Cosette, how long have you been actually in the business?
So I started school in October of 24 and I graduated in August of 25. And then I just got licensed in November of 2025. So really, I've only been taking clients for only a couple months. I've been cutting hair in school for about a year now, but in the real industry gaining money, it's only been about 3 months.
Do you relate to anything in the 1-star?
A lot. You know, actually last week I had this client and she wanted bangs a little bit, but she was like, "But I don't know about the bangs. Like, what do you think about the bangs?" And I was like, I was scared to cut them because I was scared that she didn't like them and I didn't want her to think that it was me. So I was like, I don't think that we should do the bangs. So it was definitely like that fear-led decision that I should have, just taken more control over and been like, you know what? Yes, let's try it. They're gonna grow out if you don't like it. So I definitely am totally relating to that 1-star.
Okay, all right. So what we have here is a starting place, and everyone has to begin there. But the numbers speak everything to what is actually going on, and that's the huge part of this. So now when we look to our next, our 2-star, 2 to 5 years in the business. So 2-star is building confidence and identity. The 2 to 5 years in the business, typical income range is 35,000 to 55,000. Strongest traits, still developing the technical skills. Could become a people pleaser or an entertainer, works hard, may even search for perfection and get lost in technique, but may not give enough importance to face shape, lifestyle, and identity. Client-directed stylist relies heavily on photographs and client guidance. Financial instability, inconsistency in bookings, fluctuation in income, hesitant to raise prices. So that's where our 2-star is. So Vicky, do you remember back to when you were a 2-star and some of the challenges you were having because you didn't have my training back then to kind of guide you? Talk to me about what your experience was as a 2-star years ago.
Absolutely. I think that honestly, 80% of us stylists probably sit in this range. We get lost in technique. We don't have enough confidence to design to our client's face shape, mostly because we just don't know enough about it. I see stylists all the time relying heavily on what the client wants or photos that the client is showing, inconsistent bookings, all of that stuff. So yes, I've probably spent a good amount of my career as a 2 to 3-star, I would say.
Okay. So again, when you are in this particular world and you're looking at where you live, a number reflects a behavior. This is so important. A number reflects a behavior. If you don't like the number, you have to change the behavior. So if you look at your numbers, they're reflective of what you are doing. So what you are doing, if it's not giving you the results that you want, it's about a shift. And that's where mentorship and guidance, and it's not necessarily an Instagram moment, which is entertainment, or a TikTok moment, which is entertainment. This is strategy, and it's a building block of process. So that makes it very, very, very different. So when we're now looking at what a 3-star is, and we're looking at the power of a 3-star, again, there's nothing wrong with being a 2-star. 2-star is amazing if you're in that year, the year span, which is correctly related to your experience. So here, a 3-star, 5 to 8 years. Now, as a 3-star, the typical income range is 55,000 to 80,000. Strongest traits: technically strong, creates beautiful work consistently, comfort zone designing, but could get lost in technique, could be trapped by feeling like a puppet, and the client is pulling your strings. Avoids bold recommendation, fears client rejection, price hesitation, wants premium positioning, but lacks the full confidence to claim it. Capable of greatness, and yet operating as a style expert designer. So what we have here, this is fine if you're in the 5 to 8 year range, but if you're 12 years stuck in this price trap, something's not working. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you today how to accelerate this journey. Vicki, you're out there teaching, how many people would you say that you see trapped in the 3-star versus thriving in the 3-star and clearly progressing on to the next level?
I would say most. And I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think it's just a lack of confidence and a lack of knowing how to design to the client sitting in your chair.
Yes. And the other big thing about this, my friends, is confidence can only be built through knowledge. Otherwise, you're faking it. So knowledge is your anchor to get more and more confident. So I just did a fashion show in New York. As a key hairdresser for a show, it's a huge responsibility to not only do the work to the designer's liking, but also in the chaos of a fashion show, make sure you're on time and everyone is spotless in how they're presented. So there's a huge responsibility there. Did I feel a little nervous beforehand? Yeah. And was I relieved when the designer was happy with the work? Of course I was, because we had practiced and the team that was with me had practiced. So we came and we showed up prepared and we were all stretched in some shape or form, which made that, super, super exciting. So the next level that we have is obviously our 4-star. And when we're looking at our 4-star, typical income range is 80 to 120,000 within the year. 8 to 12 years experience within the business. Strongest traits: design thinker, integrate personality, fashion before cutting, coloring, and designing. So now it's much more big picture. It's not a groomer, it's shifted to a designer. High demand presence, a wait list, referrals, strong retention, strategic pricing power, raises prices intentionally, filters clients wisely. Core reality: highly respected, operating as a consultant, not a technician. And that's where the power is in this. It's stepping into that authority. So again, if one is 8 to 12 years within the industry, this should be a very realistic goal, but no one gave us a path, a map. So we drift from year to year, blame the economy, blame whatever. Blame the clients, blame long hair, whatever it is, and we get trapped there. So what we're doing now is we're really unpacking this to say, right, well, where do I want to be? If I'm right now financially at a 2-star, what's it going to take to be a 4-star? But are you ready now? Do you want to know what a 5-star looks like? Because that's pretty amazing to look at where a 5-star is. Are you ready? a 5-star elite identity designer, experience 12 years plus in the industry, income range from 120 to 200,000 is the average for this range. At the top tier, you're not just a stylist, you're a brand, educator, trendsetter, and highly valued consultant. Income can extend beyond chair services into speaking, podcasts, TV, education, VIP clients, brand collaboration, elite industry opportunities. Some stylists report six-figure incomes far above the industry average, 300,000 plus. I know quite a few hairdressers that are way up in the 400,000 in this category. Authority that attracts high-end clients, income beyond hourly service. This is where becomes quite interesting, through education, products, events, and photo shoots. So when you're looking at this world and you're looking at the power of what that is, let's just go to the full screen so you can take a screen capture of this. This is the full power within our industry. So my challenge today is to take somebody like a Cosette, who is young in our business, and see how I can accelerate her journey so she does not have to be in the waiting game. 45 years plus in the industry, I'm now looking at where can there be a more efficient path to get you to where you want to go versus having to wait many, many years, sometimes developing a bad habit and being really skilled at that bad habit, but it doesn't serve you. And that becomes a huge, huge thing. Does it serve you for where you want to go? So if we summarize this, take a screen capture of it, my friends. Let me just get myself out of the way. Star level experience: 1 star, 22 to 35,000, 2 star, 35 to 55,000, 3 star, 55 to 80,000, 4 star, 80 to 120,000, and 5 star, 120 to 350,000. So Vicky, what are your thoughts about this? Now, the way that we're kind of breaking this down and we're looking at this, because now we're going to go into the dive of where we're going to go with our magic, right? So let me just go here for a moment. Let's bring our Vicky in. So Vicky, seeing that chart like that, are you surprised? Are you motivated? Tell me.
I'm not surprised at all. Being a 4 or 5 star hairstylist is a lot of work. We are working even when we're not behind the chair, on things like marketing, business stuff, our accounting, retail, education in the field. For me, I'm meeting with other hairstylists all the time, hearing what their kind of issues are, seeing what I can do to help. So it doesn't surprise me. I think that we get paid for the amount of work we put in.
Yes, absolutely. And Lee just said a great comment here. Confidence is knowledge. Otherwise, you are faking it. You're absolutely right, Lee. All right. So let's dive in deeper into our subject. So a 5-star, this is my work, but a 5-star would be able to flirt between, progressive to classic to flow around where they understand image, they understand great style. And that's a very important part of this. So when you're looking at this and you're looking at why technique alone doesn't create confidence, the psychology behind great consultations, how head, heart, and gut shape every design. If technique was enough, every advanced stylist would be fully booked. And clearly, they are not. So what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to take a little quiz, which is super exciting. Hairdressing is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. Consultation is where the 80% happens. So what we're looking at right now is, this was mind-blowing to me. I spent my entire career trying to be good, trying to be perfect, trying to do it better. So focused on the skill of these hands. And while I knew mindset was important, I didn't realize it was 80% of success. The psychology, and that's what we're going to dive into today, the psychology of what takes you to be a 5-star. Now, some of you may say, you know what, Viv, I'm very happy to be a 3, and that's good. I respect that. Some of you may be saying today, you know, we're Viv, 4. That's good. I'd be really happy if I could get to a 4-star, because that would be, you know, whatever for you. But clearly, when you're a 1 and a 2, they're wonderful when you're a baby in the business. So let's just bring in Cosette and let's get her intake on this, because this is the first time she's seeing this. So Cosette, what are your thoughts about seeing that structure, not only in years of experience, but mindset to what they financially get? How does that sit with you? If you want to just unmute yourself, great.
It makes me really motivated because I'm definitely sitting around that 1 to 2-star area, being less than a year in the industry. But it makes me want to be a 5-star like tomorrow. I know I can't get there, but it makes me really motivated to want to get there. And I'm ready to put in that work and put in that extra time outside of, right behind the chair. So I think that's what's going to help me get there as well.
So for salon owners watching me today, motivation never works, but progress, a sense of purpose, a sense of goals and achievement do. And as any leader, is about empowering your team to step into their greatness, whatever that may be, because each of us have a different path and different values. But now that Cosette's seen what it takes to go to a 5-star, she'll be able to actually, especially with me in her life, get there a lot quicker than most people will, because there won't be the roadblocks. The moment a roadblock comes along, remove it, move on, learn, roadblock, move. And she's a go-getter. And so therefore she's got the mindset that's really, really important for this. So that makes me super excited. So again, hairdressing is 80% psychology and 20% the mechanics. And that's what's pretty amazing about our industry. So when you're looking at creating beautiful imagery, you're creating beautiful styles, the gatekeeper to doing any of this is the consultation. And how do you design? Do you design from your head, your heart, your gut? So the head is the logic, the heart is the emotion, and the gut is instinctual. So are you ready to play our very first quiz? Because we're going to actually dive into this, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So let's get yourself ready. You can do a screen capture, but I need a pen or take some notes. So here we go. You're going to either be an A, a B, or a C. Question number 1. Are you ready, guys? Participation. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. When you ask a client what she wants, what do you naturally focus on? A, you analyze face shape, bone structure, hair density, growth patterns, lifestyle, logistics. You need measurable clarity before you commit. So that is A, analyzing. B, you tune into the emotion, how she feels about herself, her confidence, her fears, her identity. You design around how she wants to feel. That's B. C, you feel it instantly. You see the look in seconds. You trust instinct over explanation. So A, B, or C? Ready for the next question? Question number 2. How do you decide what hairstyle to create? A, you apply systems. Face shape, body. Oh, I got the same thing again. Is my question the same? Hold on, I've got to go backwards. What she wants. Here we go. How do you decide on the hairstyle? No, this is different. Face shape mapping, body proportion, balance, weight distribution. You will not cut until it makes structural sense. So you're analyzing the architecture. That's number A. B, you sense her energy and lifestyle rhythm. You design for the woman she's becoming. You prioritize connection over geometry. That's B. C, you go bold. You feel trends. You are comfortable in uncertainty. You trust the creative force. A, B, or C? Write it down. Question number 3. How much do you cut when determining a length? You measure, A is you measure twice, you calculate proportion, you prefer certainty and low risk. B, you ask emotional readiness questions. Are you prepared for this? You adjust based on confidence level. C, you know it needs to come off, it comes off, adventure excites you. A, B, or C, write it down. Number 4, technical execution. During the haircut, you are mostly highly technical, focus on sectioning, precision, graduation, silhouette integrity, control equals safety. B, checking the mirror constantly, reading her reaction, encouraging, reassuring, connecting. C, freehanding, breaking the rules, creative ghost layers, hidden weight shifts, lived in texture. You're just going with the flow, which is number C. Write down A, B, or C. And the final question, final look and upsell. How do you close the experience? A, you explain maintenance, recommend structured product system, educate on why the cut works. B, you celebrate her, photographs, affirmations, emotional reinforcement, you build loyalty through connection. And C, you evaluate, add edge, a trend piece, a strong finish, you create impact. So let's do your scoring and let's see in the chat how many people got A, how many people got B, and how many got C. And obviously there's a blend of all, but which one was predominant for you? Which one was predominant? Okay, so girls, which one was predominant? Which was your score, Vicky?
So I had 3 A's, 2 B's, and then the last question was all of the above. So I think it's a little bit of all of them, although I definitely use my head most often.
Okay, great. Cosette, how was it for you?
I'm the same as Vicky. I got 3 A's and 2 B's. I think that I'm trying to learn to go with the emotion more and try and have that emotional connection. But being so new, it's just like, no, that technically that can't work. So it's kind of like I'm working on that.
So mastery is the ability to adapt, to pivot. And there's mirroring, obviously. There are times when if you mirror a client's nervous energy, then you've got a nice stress soup that you're making. So there's times not to mirror, where you have to be the rock, you have to be the confident one. But if you really are missing the connection with the client, if she's speaking analytical, you're going to connect with her in that language. If she's talking about how she feels and she's talking about the emotion, then you're going to connect with her there. The intuition is a powerful thing. So this is the danger. If we live too much in the head, which is our logic, we can miss the intuition of the gut, which is that intuitive self. I am very strong in intuition, really, really strong. I will take risks. I will be adventurous, but I'm very analytical and I am very sensitive to people's emotions. So I literally dance through all 3. And I'm very aware of when I'm living too much in my head. So we've got some interesting scores coming through. We've got quite a few B's coming through and some A's coming through. So the danger, if you're extreme in headspace, it means that you're disconnected from the joy of what you're doing. It can get very much here. And you're not listening to intuition much. So there could be some great opportunities that you are missing as well. So now let's take this and we're now going to unpack this, and I'm going to give you absolutely solid tools that you can use. And this is going to be super interesting for you all. "97% of hairdressers say they give a consultation. 7% of consumers say they receive a consultation." And that's quite alarming, the difference. What is the function of a consultation? It's a high level consultation. What is that? A high level consultation, know your why before the how. You've got to know why you're doing it before how you're doing it. So clarify desire, which is what our consultation form does for you, which we're going to be going over. Diagnose structure of face shape and body type, analyze hair potential, style and identity match, establish authority, create a style journey. I love that, a style journey, which we'll talk about, and justify premium pricing. That's a very important part of this. A week consultation asks, what are we doing today? A master consultation declares, here's your best style. And what is powerful about that is knowing the why. Why would I want, why are we going to do that? And that's what makes that so super, super powerful. Your language changes depending on this. Head, clients want reasoning. So I want you to have an awareness of this. They need reasoning because they're living in their head, and you probably could be living in your head. Heart, client wants reassurance. Yes, it's going to work. It's going to work. Gut, client wants the vision. And this is where most stylists fail. You've got to have all. You've got to have all of these qualities in order to be very, very powerful. Does that make sense? Does that make sense for you all? Yes, it does. Great. Skill alone does not equal income. The shift from technician to designer and authority correlate much larger income growth than time and technical training alone. Stylists who master psychology, consultation, and identity design are the ones who reach the 4 to 5 star income bracket. Now, you may know some people, I've met them, I've worked with a lot of them that just had incredible taste level, incredible style. They had an amazing awareness of observation, and they had confidence to go out there and do that. And I spent most of my career, like 95% of my career, around iconic hairdressers who have this incredible way of designing. Trevor Sorby used to say to me, Viv, I don't think you can teach good taste. You've either got it or you haven't. And I used to look at all these amazing hairdressers working and think, how did they come up with that idea? How do they have this wait list? How do they have all these, the press after them and this and that? How do they get all this attention? What is it that they're doing? It's what I'm going to teach you now. I tore it apart. And I made it very, very teachable, not only for you, but also for the client. And that's where it's super exciting. Before my scissors touch hair, I design identity. Now, in the beginning, I would just look at the hair, look at the hair, look at the hair, focus on the hair. And I realized, wow, I've got this all wrong. I've got it back to front. I've got to know the person first. I've got to know inside their head first. Then I can design to them, the total person. Then this happens. And as we go through this consultation, hair is one of the last things we talk about. Hair I can change. I can't change her if she's insecure. I can help her. I can help and be supportive of building more confidence. There's certain things I can't physically change, but the hair I can. But I've got to know what I'm unpacking first before I even get into that area, which is very important. So when I'm looking at designing, just these two haircuts are exactly the same haircut, one shorter and one longer. Both of these hairstyles were created in our live workshops that we host every single week. So when you're looking at these and you're saying, oh, wow, you know, they have a different sensibility to them, don't they? And so let's look at how do we take this lady and take her into something amazing. So here's the journey. It's the haircut that is being transformed. So obviously here, I put in a different face because I wanted to show you my haircuts with one face. And you can see that that's what I've done. But I've changed the hair. So you have a different, so those of you who are heart, are going to have a different love connection to this. Those of you who are head, you're going to be very analytical. Okay, well, it's longer there, it's shorter there. Okay. Those of you who are gut going to go, yeah, well, I think she's much more whatever. So we're going to put this to the test now in what we're doing. Look at these designs with a new awareness: head, heart, and gut. This is what I want you to do as we're going to go through here now. So here we go. You ready? We look at this lady with her long hair. What does your head tell you? What does your heart tell you? What does your gut tell you? Vicky, what does it say to you when you look at this through your head?
It's a lovely technical haircut.
Okay. Then, Vicky, go to the heart. What do you think about this?
It's cute. I think it would be cuter on her bone structure if it was a little bit shorter.
Let's go to the gut.
Yes, see? That's what I thought.
Okay, let's go back to the head.
Oh, I love it. It's so cute.
Okay, that was the heart. Go back to the head.
Technically perfect on her proportion, on her depth, really shows off her features.
Go to the gut.
I love it.
Go back to the heart.
The gut says it's nice and soft for her face. I like it with a little bit more texture.
Okay. All right.
Adorable.
What does the head say?
Perfect.
Okay. What does the heart say?
Wow, this woman just rocks everything.
She rocks everything. Yes. So we have here all the different looks, and you can see here that when you look through your head, when you look through your heart, when you look through your gut, would you have the guts to take off all of this long hair that's here and take her into here? You see, I said to you about a style journey. I would do all of these on a lady if it was appropriate. I mean, that one to me looks a bit 90s, but I would take her on a style journey if I understand her personality and I understand all these important things. But what's really important also here is looking at the money. If she is in a pixie haircut, she is going to be coming to you very frequently. She's going to be coming at least every 8 weeks. Here, as this grows out, she could get away with coming in twice a year. This, as it grows out, this will grow out to this. So she could have a long shelf life, a very short shelf life, and a medium shelf life. So when you're looking at money and you're looking at services and you're looking at the type of client that you're attracting, if you've got a lot of this sitting in your chair, you need at least 3 times more clients than this person who's got a blend of these higher ticket ladies coming in behind their chair. So that's really very huge. So let's get into the consultation. Our philosophy is to custom design a style that fits your personality, fashion style, busy life. We want to complement your hair texture, bone structure, and body type. So you're going to now fill out this consultation for yourself. So you can take a screen capture, and I want you to start answering for yourself. Let's get some interaction happening here. So obviously, I would want to know with a new guest, why did she leave her last hairstylist and colorist? That's important because that's a very important clue for me. How happy is she with her current look on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being that she loves it, and 1 being that she's open for a change. And how open to change are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Vicky, what has this meant to you to be using this tool just for these questions that we're looking at right now?
Super important. I don't want to do the same thing that their last stylist or colorist did. I want them, if they're going to sit in my chair, I want them to be loyal and I want to keep them. I want retention. So how happy are they with their current look? Lets me know how they're feeling about the way they currently look and how open they are to change. So if they're a fence sitter, are they a visionary? Are they someone who's creative and really wants a transformation? Or are they someone who's a little bit scared of it and going to need help with their confidence?
Yes,
I think the most important thing is that most long hair ladies are addicted to their long hair. It's almost their security.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have the confidence to give them the confidence to cut it off and let them know that, maybe it's not the best suited for their face shape.
Absolutely. Because we're going to now dive into that very important thing that Vicky's speaking to, which is lifestyle choices and time. And I'm going to tear this apart right now. So number one, how much time are you willing to spend on your hair each day? 5, 15, 10 minutes, whatever. How often can you visit the salon to maintain your hairstyle? So these questions are so important, because if we want to know anything about anybody's life, all we need to do is look at their checkbook and their diary. How you spend time, how you spend money. So we have ladies that Vicky's speaking to with the longer hairstyles, which can look great in a photograph. But most often when you see, especially more mature ladies walking around with very long hair, if it is not groomed and polished, they look very undone. Undone can look cool on a kid, a younger person. But when a mature woman is undone, it doesn't have the same presence. And also, if shoulders are not back up and tall, lifting and good posture, carrying the hairstyle, if there's round shoulders and the hair is hanging like this, everything is moving down. And that energetically, body position, how they're holding themselves, doesn't read well. So what we've got to do is, if that client's not prepared to spend the time on her hair to look good every day, a question would be, is it okay that your hair will only look amazing when I do it? Because unless you've got those skills, which we can teach you, you're going to run yourself into trouble where it looks amazing when you leave the salon, but for the most part, it will not, because it's a lot to manage. And I'm going to show you evidence of that as we get into this presentation. So that becomes a huge, huge thing. So lifestyle, the next part of lifestyle, show me the money. Budget, what role does budget play in choosing salon services? Somewhat important, very important, and not important. So take a screen capture of that. So what we're doing right at the beginning, we're evaluating time and money. And I'm not going to be doing some complex hairstyle when the budget is somewhat important. And because the consultation that I use is written, it's a very awkward question to ask around money, but it's not awkward in a consultation form. So Cosette, you're new in the business, you're building your clientele base. Do you use this consultation form right now? Are you starting to use it?
Yes, I am. And I definitely notice that, like, if I'm in a rush and, like, I don't have, necessarily the time for the consultation form, I don't have as good of a consultation. So most times I am using my consultation form. There was one day where it was like my first day booked back to back to back, and I was kind of like rushing through my consultations, and I didn't feel as comfortable in my service as I should have if I used my consultation form.
Yes. And the key here, my friends, is that the consultation form should go to the doctor's office. You're not filling out the form with the doctor standing there looking at you. You're filling out that form and sitting in the waiting room. So the consultation form is always before you ever meet the hairdresser. So it's on the client's time, not your time. Your time is way too precious. The consultation form is for you to evaluate and to look at, budget's an issue here. She's only going to spend 5 minutes on her hair. She's only going to be coming into the salon twice a year. I've got to do low maintenance. So all these ideas that she has, we've got to now do a reality check, because she hasn't even got through the question number 1, time and money. She wants something that she's seen in a photograph, which is gorgeous, but it's not realistic if she's ticked that box saying, I'll spend 10 minutes on my hair and I'll come in and see you twice a year. That's not going to be possible. That's where your expertise is so vital. You know, with AI taking so many jobs, the next industry that's going to be hit really hard is anyone that sells their advice, consultants get selling advice, any of that business industry, which is huge, will be lost because AI will take it away. When you have a question, it's amazing the power of AI in getting your answers. We can use AI as a tool to service. I use it every single day, but no AI can feel, this hair is really quite soft. Viv's hair is going to collapse. If Viv doesn't have this haircut cut every blah, 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 then we're in trouble. Now, Lindsay, who works with Cosette, told me something super interesting. She said she had a client come in. She was a Chinese lady who had researched through Chat GPT face shape. She knew what her face shape was. She'd researched what was the best hairstyle to have. And then she found a video on how to do the hairstyle. So there she is sitting in Lindsay's chair showing her face shape. This is my face shape. This is the hairstyle that suits me. And this is how you do it. Now, if that isn't the ultimate of feeling like a puppet and someone pulling your strings, it's great information. But we're not so far away from that right now. We are the gatekeepers of the human touch, the connection, the compassion. People need that. People need to come out of their head and get into the heart and get into the gut. We've got these assets. We should use them in balance, right? So this is a very difficult question to ask verbally, easy on paper, and it will direct the outcome of where you're going. And that makes it super, super huge. So, okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is this lady here who had silver gray hair and has had some blonding, and she's got depth on the perimeter. It's a shorter version, going even shorter. Time, money. So when you look at this, the services that would be required for A versus B, very, very different decisions about this is more high maintenance. This is more maintenance because obviously there's a shape. This could be really scary growing out if it's not styled beautifully every single day. She'd be the kind of client that'd be saying, you've got to come in for your weekly blow dry in order for this to look great. So there's more maintenance here where obviously the lady with the silver hair doesn't have it. But if she does not walk tall and elegant and groom her hair, she can look like a hot mess super quickly. Do you have anything to add to that, Vicky, in terms of time, money?
Yes, I think people think it's easier because they have long hair to just throw it back, or they bring you pictures of blown out long hair and they just expect that that's what their hair is going to look like wash and wear. So really explaining to them that this is going to take a little bit of maintenance to make your hair look that way. Even if you're only in the salon 3 or 4 times a year, just ways to like upkeep it, and, you know, maybe talking to them about how long hair tends to drag our features down when we get to a certain age, etc.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when we're looking at this, time and money, you know, obviously we're going to talk about voguing the face. We're going to talk about face shape, and we're going to look at this in a very detailed way. Financial and authority layer. When consultation is deep, clients trust faster. Price resistance decreases, referrals increase, retention increases. You are no longer selling hair. You are selling clarity and confidence. You're selling style, and that's the huge game changer. So now let's look here at fashion. Take a screen capture. I always want to know occupation because some people live their occupation and it's a very strong influence. So therefore, I want you to go through this consultation yourself and see where you land. How many of the following best describes your style? So we're going to go from trendy, classic, sophisticated, eclectic, which is a mixture of styles, sporty, casual, bohemian. So we go through all of these genres here and we look at all of these different styles. Cosette, has this helped you get clearer about the personality of the client that's sitting in your chair?
Oh, absolutely. Because we work in Ann Arbor, where the University of Michigan is, they have the Michigan Hospital. We have a lot of like nurses and people that come from the hospital. So it's very important to them, like that they're able to still put their hair back. And when we're coloring, that like, when they're putting their hair back, that we're applying those colors in a way that they can still see them. So that question to me is like top tier important when I'm looking at my consultation sheet.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So now when we move on through here and we're looking now at the three wheels of fashion. So the three wheels of fashion for me is everything. And this is where I grew up in this world, and fashion is such an important part of what we do. And every client has their statement clearly. So this weekend we did week, and this is behind the scenes, and I'm sure you're all quite jealous of the fact that I was able to touch this gorgeous man. Wow. But this is behind the scenes and the fashion show. And what's really interesting about this is that the three wheels of fashion, which we're going to dive into right now, came from that world. So I need to know, is the hairstyle going to whisper, scream, or shout? I need to know the fashion of that client. I need to know the femininity that she wants. If I think in inches and trimming, that's all I'm doing. And I become a puppet, and that's not where I live. When these three are aligned, the client feels authentic. When they're misaligned, she feels off, even if their haircut is technically perfect. And how many of you have done a beautiful haircut, a beautiful color, and you can't understand why the client is not skipping for joy? Have you all had that experience? And Vicky's saying, oh yes, I've had that experience. Vicky, you can relate to that in a big way, right?
Absolutely. I think we all can.
Yes, because what's happening, 80% is psychology, 20% is the mechanics. You've been so focused on the technique, you've not thought mindfully enough about the 80%, which our industry does not teach. And that is where the flaw lies. So we're going to now dive into this in a deeper way. So this, for me, is where our genius lies. This is the three wheels of fashion, and it's a genius zone. I'm being sensitive to, should I just make it a little bit quieter? Should the blow dry be as big? Should the blow dry be more undone? She's more classic, so let's calm it down. She's a little bit more edgy, so let's put some pomade in there and ruffle it up. She wants to feel sexy, so it's a little unkept. She wants to feel feminine. It's quieter. There's energy. The energy, does the energy match your client? Does it connect in that way? So the first thing we're going to look at, which is the number 3 question in the consultation, is personality. Introvert, extrovert, ambivert, or a combination of both. Where does that client live? And that to me is the first thing. Now, very often, this is where the power, the law of attraction lives so strongly, because you tend to attract who you are. So I tend to attract visionary clients. I tend to attract very creatives. But I like to dance in between and just kind of get into like, where do they live? And when they are classic and buttoned up, I go, oh, okay, we're going into this classic buttoned up. Oh, she's bohemian and relaxed. Okay, I'm going to go over here to bohemian relaxed. So I am very pliable, because I've lived in that world where on a photo shoot, this is the story of the girl. This is the story, or the fashion designer. This is the story. I've had to be very bendy and pliable. And when I meet the client where they live, I start building the trust coins. I have more coins of value, and there's more that I have here in my hand. So every time I win trust, I think of a coin going into my hand. I won trust again, another coin. So now when I have a fistful of coins, I can negotiate a few, but I'm gathering trust because I'm understanding and I'm asking all the important questions. So that to me is super, super powerful. So then the next one that we have, let's look at our wheel here. So on our wheel, we've got the whisper, we've got the talk, we've got the ambivert, we've got the shout, and we've got the scream. So that's my wheel. And when I look at people, I ask myself, where is she here? Is she whispering? She's just sitting there like a little church mouse, or she's like this. I had one client that came into the salon. She used to drive me crazy. Her name was High Voltage, and she was the exercise guru to a lot of celebrities. And she would stand at the top of the stairs, and she would shout, "Energy up! Woo, woo!" And I'll go, "Oh my gosh!" And they go, "Oh, that's Viv's client." And she'd sit in the chair and she'd go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," like this, "Energy up." And I'd be like, okay, so if I would have given her a hairstyle that whispered, would I have succeeded or would I have failed? I'd have failed, right? She was screaming. So she didn't want a soft blonde. She didn't want a basic haircut. Everything about it had to pop, had to pop, had to pop. And that was just like the genius of working with her. And I loved it. So now let's look at this. Again, when we look at personality, how quiet or how loud is she? We've got 3 bobs here. We've got a pink bob, we've got a nice blonde bob, and we've got a basic bob. So you can see now, okay, this is quieter, this is louder. Where does she want to be? And again, the danger here is when you put somebody in a category where they do not belong, because fear is saying, I will play it safe. And you never want fear to be to be the director of your decisions. So now when we come through here, we're going to take a look at this. So we're going to go through these images, and I just want you to be listening to your emotion, your head, and your gut as we go through them. Ready? Now then, here we have all of our girls together. So when you look at all of these girls, whisper, scream, and shout. Vicky, which one for you whispers?
1.
Okay, 1 whispers, right. So we're going to look at that girl again, but we're going to look at her through different eyes. We've now left the quiet one, and I'm just going to go back there again because I feel this is important. Vicky said 1 is the quieter one, correct? So that is on that wheel. But before we actually leave there, let's just say, for you, Cosette, which one for you shouts?
To me, number 2.
Number 2 shouts. Okay. Which one would you say is a talk?
Number 3.
Okay. And which one, is there one here that screams to you?
I feel like 5.
Yeah, if anyone was going to be, I mean, she's
Yes.
our glamour lady. So if there was one, it could say possibly that. So we are right now looking through a filter of personality. This is how I show up. This is how I walk. This is my presence. This is how I show up in a place. That I want you to understand. So what have we done so far? We've unpacked time and money. We've unpacked the importance of what she's going to spend and how much time she's going to physically spend on her hair. We're now looking at her personality. Where does her personality live? So we design a hairstyle to that. The next thing we're going to go to in our 3 wheels, we're going to leave the personality one, and we're now going to go to fashion and lifestyle. So let's now look at that one. The fashion wheel, this is where I love. So you're going to make your money in the 1 to 5 zone: classic, conservative, commercial, uniform, trendy. That's where you're going to make your money. Every so often, an original will sit in your chair, and she's the one that feeds your heart, and maybe she'll feed your pocket. Maybe not. The tribal, edgy costume, retro look, not so many. Avant-garde, rebel, outrageous. This is going to be depending on where you live in the world. So that's a huge factor. So now let's look at these ladies here, because we're going to explore the fashion. So we're looking at personality. So just for a moment, look at the personality, which one whispers, which one talks, and which one screams. Now look at it through your eyes of fashion. Who is classic? Who is sexy? Who is edgy? Who is artsy? Right? Now let's move on. So we're going to look now, as we look at our fashion wheel, we understand where the commercial is. So now let's go into here. Right. So when we look at our group here, Cosette, tell me which ones are going to sit in the we're going to make a load of money.
Number 4.
The rock and roll?
Yes, rock and roll. And I would also probably say the feminine romantic, because I feel like those are the ladies that are going to come in on that weekly basis for a blowout.
Okay. All right. Vicky, who would you say fits the, let me just go back. This is our group here where we make the money: classic, conservative, commercial, uniform, and trendy. So Vicky, where do you feel out of this group would sit in the I'm going to make a load of money out of this lady?
1, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. All right. So the hippie would be lower maintenance, the casual undone. She's going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter, another month. The classic businesswoman, she's going to be definitely wanting more services. The glamour one is high maintenance. I need to look glamorous and polished and shiny. I'm high maintenance. I may be the lady that comes in every week for a blow dry. I'm high maintenance. So again, we've looked at personality. We're looking at fashion and lifestyle. But now let's look at how feminine our client is going to be. How feminine would you like your final look to be? Soft, feminine, romantic, sensual, sexy, glamorous, girly, tomboy? Would you like your style to look more youthful or more grown up? That's a huge thing. So I would never actually be saying this to a person, because if I was to speak this to a person, I would feel really weird, but I don't in a form. So I give the form to my client before I see her. It's given to her before I see her. She fills out the form. Then all I'm looking at is what she's circling. And I now can start to go red light, don't go there, amber, green, right? So I'm looking for green lights. That's where I'm going. And as I go through it, I'm sort of saying, oh, I noticed that you would like something more romantic. Or I'll say, oh, I noticed that you like a bohemian look. I'm using her language back to her. So if I use the language back to her that she has ticked, I am connecting. And now the trust, remember I'm getting the coins of the trust is starting to build now, because she understands that I'm using her language. And it's called mirroring. I'm mirroring her desire. And now I'm going to go through all of those desires, and then I'm going to do, well, this is the reality check of what we can and cannot do. And that's where it's very, very powerful. And this is what changes everything for you. So there we've got our different lifestyles, right? So now when we move through here, we entered our wheel of fashion. So we've got our group that are tough, tomboy, androgynous, feminist, the power women. Then we've got cute and girly. Then we're moving over to romantic, ethereal, feminine, sensual. And then we've got glamorous and sexy. So we've got this whole wheel of femininity, which for me is hugely important. So which one, Vicky, would you say is the most sexy out of this group? And friends, write in the chat.
6.
6 for you is sexy. Okay. Which for you looks the cutest? Cute.
3 or 5.
3 or 5. Which one for you looks the hardest?
Rock and roll.
Okay. Is there another one?
Hippies, probably.
Very strong, a power woman.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
6 would be the power woman.
Okay. And what about our classic businesswoman?
I feel like she's just classic and soft and sophisticated and elegant.
Okay. So now then, Cosette, what do you think of number 1? What is she to you?
I think to me, number one is, to me, businesswomen are like hardcore women. So she's almost harder to me
Yeah.
and more, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Tough.
Yes, that's the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about powerhouse New York women who is
Yes.
executives who would be in a
Yes.
suit, who are strong. I mean, that she's got a soft face, this girl. So, but there's a strength there. Again, meet them where they live. You can sell anything. If you're not serving them where they live, you can sell nothing. And actually, what you're doing is you're shifting selling to serving, because this, what I'm speaking about, is serving. Selling is, I want you to buy this because I want you to have it. Serving is, how do I serve? How do I bring out the best for you? Very different energy to sell versus to serve. And that is really hugely, hugely different. So that's very powerful. So now let's look at this. When we're looking at our wheel again, who do we find here that is cute? Let's just go back again. 5 is cute. Okay. Now let's go back again here. Let's look at who's the most romantic and the feminine out of all of these.
5.
5, yeah.
Okay. So the wheel of fashion is super important because you've got to meet that client where she lives. And the simple thing is sometimes just how you finish the hairstyle can make a major, major difference in the final look. And that is so very, very important. So when you're looking at these girls, where do they live in fashion? How quiet or loud? Where do they live in fashion? And how sensual is the look? It's that simple. To me, in my gut is where I process a lot of this stuff. And that's where the magic actually happens. Now let's talk about face shape. But are there any questions before we move on? Can you see the chat, Vicky?
I can. There is no questions. Lily Flower said she loves the whisper, shout, or scream description.
Okay, great. Good. Thank you. So next subject is bone structure. What is your favorite feature? I need to know what you like. What is your face shape? I want to know if the client's aware of her face shape, because now the door to education opens. Do you have a feature you do not like? To me, this is such an important place to talk about length, to talk about balance, to talk about proportion. I will take the hair away from the face. We're going to go through our own little game in a moment. So this is such an important part of, I never talk about inches. I talk about shape. This shape is going to work beautifully for you. And I say why. This shape, and I show the client so it becomes a super powerful tool that I'm actually using. So that is our face shape, right? So again, take a screen capture, my friends. So the next one we're going to look at is the science of beauty, the balance and the proportion. If I have a client who is a resistor, if I have a client who's a fence sitter, I need to educate them on their face, especially if they tick that they don't know what their face shape is. Maybe they don't like certain features. I'm going to now go into education. It's the science of beauty, and it's the beauty of science. So before you pick up the tools, measure the client's face and let her know. And I make this happen so quickly. Sometimes I don't actually do the demo, but if I have a client who lives in her head and she needs to know that I know what I'm talking about, I just go 1, 2, 3. And then I want to make sure that this 4th is in proportion, but I'm balancing it. And I start to explain. And then we're going to go over voguing around the face, and I start to do all of that as well. So I can really make sure that this client fully understands what we're talking about. And that right there is the game changer. So voguing around the face is a huge thing. When I vogue around the face, I'm going to show you in a moment, I'm studying how the face shape changes. Voguing around the face is a rehearsal to confirm the best shape. And I am at that point getting my ideas going. And that's where my head, my heart, my gut start to flow. Because my one goal is that I'm trying to create the oval face shape. That's all I'm trying to do. So styling transformation can be this simple. These are hairstyles we did in our live classes. So we've got the center parting open, we've got the center parting closed, we've got the center parting open with a smaller side, and then clearly we have the side parting. And each one of these tell a different story as you're going through. And so this is where I get my ideas. And sometimes it's just simply the parting that will do this. So what I want us all to do right now is we're going to do a consultation with our phone, and we're going to do some voguing around the face, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. So what I'd like for you to do is grab your phone, and I just want you to take a photograph of how you are right now. And this is a great thing for your clients to do, because you'll ask your client to hold the phone. So this is the way you hold the phone so that you've got the freedom. It's the kind of the gorilla one. So you have your fingers here like this and your thumb here so you can take the pictures. So you're going to say to the client, let's just study your face shape and let's look at how we can design the perfect hairstyle. This I do for resistors, or this is what I do when I don't have an idea and I'm struggling to find the idea. So I'd like for you to take a photograph. So your client would take the photograph. Then maybe what you'll do is just tuck your hair behind your ears. Take another photograph. Then maybe what you can do is one side down, one side back. Take a photograph. Then you can take the hair and then take it off of the face. Another photograph. Then you can take the hair and move it away. Take another photograph. So what you're doing is picture, 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 so that then you can go back and you can start scrolling through and you'll be going, oh, this is on her phone. If you're trying to do it, it doesn't work. She's just there like this, picture, picture, picture. And maybe what has actually happened is all you were doing was going center parting down, center parting open, center parting volume, side parting. You may only be doing simple things where you are, let me just show you here, one sec, where you're just simply showing the client on the phone, this is one parting here, there, lifting it up, so she can see the shape that you are starting to have ideas for. And this is incredibly powerful, because in doing this, you're guiding her. So we've got to find the oval face shape. That is the goal. Where is the oval face shape? So I love to use the consultation when I'm either stuck for an idea or the client's stuck. And it's amazing how you can sell a fringe when you didn't think you could, because it's now on the client's phone and she's getting to see all of these different things. So it's super, super, super powerful. Have you actually tried this, Vicky? What was the experience for you?
I feel like it's easier to talk to a client about their face shape and proportion when you're looking into the phone. And not always, I think, because I was just kind of raised in competition world. So I can't always see the face shape or the features that maybe we need to hide, etc., unless I can see it in a camera.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So even when I'm eating, same way.
Yeah. Cosette, how is it for you? Have you tried a phone consultation yet?
I've not tried a phone consultation yet. I kind of do it into the mirror where I'm like, okay, do you see how this is opening up, like, and you're lifting here in the mirror?
Yes.
So I definitely think that doing it in the phone consultation so that the client can go home and look at it and be like, oh, she was right. Look at that versus look at like how I'm wearing my hair on a normal basis. So I do think I should definitely start trying that.
So this is what I'd like for you to do. A client who's a resistor. Let's take a client with super long hair, and I'm going to show you an example in a moment. Take a photograph with the hair kind of fake it, like vogue around the face and fake it. So for example, when I am voguing around the face, number one, I am looking into the mirror and I'm going to show the client, gonna like say, let's take a look here and open this out, a photograph. Now let's do it here, photograph. Now let's do that here, photograph. Let's do that here, photograph. Now, if she's got long hair, I'd be cupping it up. That's what it is. So if she's got long hair, I'll be saying, look here, look here, look here. And I tell her I'm looking for oval. I look at when I make it flatter. I look at when I make that flat. I look at when I raise the crown area. I lift that up and I make the top of the head higher through here. So I'm looking at all these different things. So I am voguing and I am making the shape versus how much am I cutting off down here? She could go out unattractive versus a shape that really does look really beautiful for her. So voguing around the face, I do it always. There's never a time where I do not vogue around the face. I'm getting the idea. The client can see the idea, and that's where the power of this truly is. And it works every single time. So let's now look at the face shape, and we're going to do a little quiz here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's see how good we are. Vicky, what face shape do you think is number 2? Where is she wide? Where is she narrow?
Round in the jaw, narrow in the chin. Yeah. Wide.
She's a wide face shape, but where is she narrow? I know it's hard because you can't see the hairline.
So probably in her forehead.
Yeah. So what face shape would that make it? Narrow at the temple, wide at the jaw.
Pear.
Yeah, she's a pear. Tell me, Cosette, what face shape is number 3?
Square.
She's close to, but she's not.
Is she like rounded?
Yes, she is.
Round.
Yeah. Now, what's number 4?
Is that oblong?
No,
Rectangular.
Is that
rectangle.
Yeah.
So this is where you've got to train your eye to see the shapes. And this is how they all play out. So number 1 is the oval. That's perfect proportion. And what's not fair to you guys right now is you're not seeing the hairline. To know a face shape, you must remove the hair off of the face to see the silhouette of the hairline. The hairline frames the face shape. So therefore you can see here, number 2 has volume in the lower part of the face. So having flat hair at the temples does not serve a pear. A round face shape has volume. So very often asymmetry, elongation works really well. And of course the rectangle, you want to shorten and widen. So you are always striving for the perfect balance and the perfect proportion. And this is where I win clients. The other thing that we're looking at when we're doing our consultation is not only the shape, but the color. So tell me, my friends, which one out of these looks do you feel is the most youthful for this lady? Vicky, which one do you feel is the most youthful?
Her silver, her natural, to be honest.
She looks gorgeous, doesn't she? Which one do you feel ages her?
The dark.
Yes, absolutely. The dark is very aging. And, again, it's this quest for youth. So we're going to now shift into talking about face shape, and we're going to talk about age, because that's a very important thing that people do not talk about.
Viv, you just have a question about face shape. So if someone already has an oval face shape, can you do almost any style as long as it fits their personality and body shape?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oval is the queen of face shapes because it is most perfectly balanced. And it's a science of proportion. It's nothing to do with with an opinion. There's the science that backs it up. So yes, and a great question. So this is the same face aged. So now when we look at this lady now with her longer hair versus her shorter hair, which I did in through AI, Vicky, which one do you feel looks most youthful?
The one on the right.
Yes. Would you all agree that the shorter hair looks more youthful? And can you see now how this lady, unless her hair styled perfectly as a longer hairstyle, it can look very unkept. And that's fine if she's bohemian. So really, short hair works for so many face shapes, but the concern more is body type, because short hair doesn't work for every body type. So when we've got short hair, when you're young, yes, you can wear short hair. When you're young, you can wear long hair. But as you hit 40 plus, I feel personally the hair should go shorter. To me, at 50 plus, the hair, for me, I don't like to see hair below the collarbone. So what are your thoughts about this? Vicky, what do you think? Which one do you like best? 1, 2, or 3?
1 or 3.
Yeah. And what do you think? Give me your thoughts about number 2.
She's smiling in it, but it lengthens her face, and I think it really brings attention to her sagging jowls. Sorry, is that rude?
No, we're being honest here. Helen Mirren, a beautiful woman, an incredible actress. She's always worn hairstyles where she looks so elegant and so chic. And for whatever reason, number 2 with the long hair and whatever else is going on, if the desire is to be more youthful, did she succeed or not?
Not at number 2.
No. So number 2 is what we see out there with women thinking that they will look younger. And actually now when I see long hair, I now look at it as old lady hair, because I see so many ladies with long hair that I don't feel is flattering. And so for me, number 2 certainly doesn't work. And she's a beautiful woman. Now, this is a lady that came into me. Her hair is extremely thin. Extremely thin. So we're going to go head, heart, and gut and look at these images as we go through looking at face shape. So this I superimposed onto her. So the only way that this lady could have this hairstyle would be a wig, because she does not have that hair. And this is, if you look at the quality of the hair, it's mature hair. This is youthful hair. This is hair that's growing out of a 20-year-old's head. So it's not realistic. Still not realistic. It's hair that's very shiny and so on and so forth. And it's still not, no way could this lady have had this hairstyle. She didn't have that hair. And if she didn't have the budget for hair extensions and the high budget for maintenance of all of this, color, etc., that is huge. So here, I think it's starting to look quite pleasing. But again, her hair would never have done this, but I could have given her a wig. Absolutely. And why not? Here, this is getting a little closer to what her hair could possibly have done, but she still did not have the hair to even do this. She still didn't have the thickness for this. And also with her jawline being quite strong, I don't think that's an appropriate style. This is just going bigger. Again, she doesn't have the hair for it. That's just not pretty. But that's where I actually took her. So let's look at this journey of where she was. And now let's listen to her. I've just had the honor of cutting Patricia's hair from long to short. Patricia, how do you feel about your new hairstyle?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It is not what I thought I would end up with. It's not what I envisioned me getting, but it is exactly what I want. So it became a surprise that is exactly what I want.
That's so wonderful. And how was the consultation for you?
The consultation went very well because it was open. It wasn't closed. I didn't have to say what I wanted. You showed me different ways my hair could look, by moving it around, by pulling it up, by pulling it back, so I could begin to picture something other than saying to you, all right, I want my hair shoulder length, or I want my hair this way or that, because I didn't know what that would be. It wasn't until you started moving my hair around that I could picture what my hair could look like. And that's how we kind of did it together, and came up with an answer.
Well, I think you look stunning, and thank you for the honor of doing your hair.
Oh, thank you. It's just been so much fun, and I love it.
So, my friends, which style do you, obviously, if this lady had had different hair, I would have had a different choice, but I didn't because her hair wasn't there and she wanted something super, super easy. When somebody says, I can't manage my hair, I need it easy, she's an equestrian, so she wears a riding helmet. When the helmet comes off, she doesn't, there's no way hair extensions are going to happen. Absolutely, I could sell her a wig. Vicky, give me your insight, because I was actually also surprised when I started to put long hair on her face that this length was quite pleasing. I wasn't so opposed to it, but I knew her hair wouldn't do it. So give me some feedback.
I think this is an amazing slide because you can see the difference that it makes in her face shape. She has the exact same smile, the exact same everything, but number 3 definitely lifts her cheekbones and lifts her eyes and really structures her face. So this is so great because you can really see how our hair affects our face.
Yes, and this is the thing, my friends. If you're having a conversation on inches, waste of time. My whole conversation was bone structure. I vogued around her face. I did that. And she was a very strong alpha female, but I kept voguing and showing her. So she came in with photographs here, which would have just made her bigger. And the moment I tucked it behind the ears and I showed her, it was amazing. So she came in for this, which would have been, I don't know, that much hair cut off. I cut off that much hair. I took it right over the ear. And the first section was right here. Did I have trust? You bet. Because I did what I'm sharing with you right now. I served. I found out who she was. I found out her values. And I found out this is what needs to be in order to work. And that was the game changer. Is this helpful, my friends?
I've just had the honor.
So I would like you to think of this for a second. Vicky, could you just sort of say to me that you loved your hair?
I loved my hair.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for trusting me today. When 3 women compliment you on your hairstyle, would you mind giving them this card? It explains how I work, and I'd love to take care of them. Now, if I have a lady like Patricia sitting in my chair, I'm going to give her 3 of these cards because there's probably 3 more Patricias out there that would value how much she's been polished and groomed, right? That's what I would do. And by doing that, when I go to this next phase, I then have even more trust and more respect. So what actually happened? Patricia sat in my chair. I gave her a great consultation. When she said, oh, I love my hair, boom, that's the door I open, and here we go. But before I can get to that, I've got to have a raving fan. So that raving fan is going to actually be that, yes. 75% of new guests do not return to the salon. That's a very high number. So we're talking about increasing your business. We're talking about taking you from wherever you are in that star system up. We're talking about, if you're living in your head, to understand the value of the heart and the gut. We're talking about balance in that world. But this is an area where you can be in your head now for sure to analyze the body type. And this is where the gravest mistakes are made in our industry. With over 75% of ladies now overweight, body type is a huge issue. It wasn't years ago, but it is today. So sensitivity to body type is everything. So when I'm working with my guest and I'm looking here at the body type, let's just go here so you can take a screen capture. What is your height and what is your body type? I need to know that. So the head is 1/7 of the body. So the most common body types today are apple and pear. So that means your clients have much fuller figures than before. And we've got to honor and be very respectful around that. So how do we navigate through that? That's the big thing. Because if you do a horizontal line on a lady who's already horizontally compromised, you just made her horizontal shape even bigger. So I do never do square, blunt, heavy lines on an apple or a banana. I will on a pear, but I will not on a banana. What is hidden underneath the salon cape? I took this photograph in Costco. So this lady, she's fuller figured, clearly. She's got very thin hair. Wouldn't it be lovely to be able to give this lady either a couple of hair extensions and bring the length up so it's rounder in the back and she has a little bit more fullness in the back and maybe a little bit more volume so her head doesn't look so tiny in relationship to the back. So it's not only that the length is an issue because her hair is thin, the volume within the hairstyle is not appropriate. And trust me, from the front, nothing worked for the face shape. And that, that is something that we need to be super, super mindful of. And it's an area of our industry that we have forgotten. So before we get into the hair texture, I just want to show you how I would do my body check. I stand my client up. I've done my consultation. I stand my client up and I look at her in the mirror, right? And if I'm going to be cutting the hair wherever I'm going to be cutting it, sometimes before I even shampoo, with her standing there, I may take a piece of hair and say, you know what, I like where that lives. Now her hair is dry and I just do a snip. I see where the hair is living. And I think, yeah, that balances very beautifully. Now she can go off to be shampooed when she comes back. That length that I had here is probably now dropped down to here. And now I have my line and I can go through. That's my number one tip for longer hair and not cutting it too short. Now then, I will then have the client, before I even do that part, stand this way. So here's the mirror. I give her a mirror. Now she's looking at her shape this way. I never do this. I always do this. So now I can say, for the shape of your shoulders or for your body type, I feel that this will be a nicer shape. Or for your body type, I feel that this would be appropriate because I'm either wanting to lengthen the torso or close the torso. I'm looking at balance. If she is built out here wide, I'm going to probably do something round through here and a very round shape with soft edges so I can create some elongation. I can lengthen the side. I'm never going to do that. Even some of my bobs, when it really suits their face at the front, but I think it's just a bit heavy there, I will round my bobs in the back. And then I'll just put a few layers in it. And that way it balances more with their body. So today we have to be much more sensitive to body type. So I do stand my clients up and I just make sure, and I'm very elegant about it. I just say, I just want to make sure this length is appropriate for your body type. Looking that way, you usually get a comment, oh my gosh, I can't believe how whatever. And it's like, okay, I don't even go there. And I just say, well, this will be elongating, this will be widening. I'm not saying, well, you're an apple and this is what we do on apples. No, I don't do that. I keep it as elegant as possible because I have to know, because if she's living underneath a cape and I go and design, let me just go back to it for a moment, and I go and design a hairstyle that's inappropriate because I haven't seen her stand up. It's like, I don't want to have that discovery when she's walking out of the salon. And guess what, my friends? Most of the time, we have our epiphanies when she's walking out because we are stepping back from our work and we're looking at the big picture. So what am I saying today? I'm not talking about technique. And I'm a very strong technical hairdresser, right? I'm talking about the big picture of designing, being a designer versus a groomer. And if you want to increase the value of what you do, the perception of what you do, you are serving and you are caring for that client in such a big way. Now, the consultation form is filled out before she sits in your chair. I find the consultations go rapid fire very quickly because I've got my information and I haven't forgotten anything. The intake is there. I'm just going, okay. And then I can read that client. I never want to use assumption as a way to decide, because that's a disaster. So as we're looking here now, we're now getting to hair. What do you like about your hair? What restrictions do you have? And that to me is obviously now my sweet spot. So what are we doing regarding the hair? So that's what I want to find out. Please show any photographs of any hairstyles that have inspired you. I love that. So I'm looking at any references. But again, I've always then got to go back to the reality check of, well, you picked this hairstyle, but like with Patricia, who sat in my chair, you showed me a hairstyle that doesn't fit your face shape, and I'm going to educate you. You selected a hairstyle that you don't even have the hair for. So yeah, I'm an expert with wigs. I can give you a wig. We can absolutely rock that, but she's not that kind of person. So therefore, I'm selling something that she wouldn't even value, right? So that to me is, as I said earlier, I do not pick up my tools until I really understand who is sitting in my chair. Now, sometimes, because I work a lot from gut, it's that fast. It's so fast. It's almost like I've got ChatGPT in my gut. I like, boom, it's so quick. My head can get me into trouble. My head is where I could store my fear, my worries, and so on and so forth. It's like, no, it's going to work. It's going to be okay. So that to me is super huge. So picking the right hairstyle for the hair, clearly, that's where our strength lies. And that's where you gain your value. Now, let's just go on a journey with this lady just to kind of wrap up. Here we've got our lady with longer hair. Now she's going a little bit shorter. Now then, Vicky, I took the same hairstyle and put it with a young face and an older face. What are your thoughts about the older look?
I think it's once again dragging the jowls down and making the eyes look a little bit saggy and older. It looks great on the young girl.
Yes.
I think there's better for the older. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the fear of cutting the hair short could be the reason that the hairdresser wouldn't recommend it. Very easy to just trim and so on and so forth. But have you done any favors? Because is the right look really living on that client? And also, how is she going to know unless you vogue around the face and show her the reference as to how it will look? And obviously, you've taken the lady from very intense maintenance versus something that is super easy, which is your lovely little pixie haircut. And that makes it magical. So I'd love to know in the chat, which one do you like the best? Vicky, which one do you like the best? And Cosette, which one do you like the best?
I like 5.
You like 5? Vicky, which one do you like?
5. I like 4 too.
Yeah. Yes. And the others are like, I'm trying to look young, but that's never really going to be ever working. And that's, I think, where we get stuck. So clearly you walk around any supermarket and you see how crazy it is with all the ladies with long hair. It certainly is a challenge. So business card, this is a strategy that I want you to all use. Imagine that your client leaves the salon feeling fabulous. Her hair feels right. It suits her face shape, her lifestyle, her confidence. Later that day, someone stops her and says, "Your hair looks amazing." Now, this is where most hairdressers miss the moment. Instead of hoping that compliments turn into business by accident, you design the outcome. As your client stands up from your chair, you hand her a small card and say, "Thank you for trusting me today. when 3 women compliment your hairstyle, would you mind giving them this card? It explains how I work, and I'd love to take care of them too. So we are, with our training, designing now this as a system within our training, where we are in our live classes that we do every week. We photograph our work. I then teach you through AI how to morph that person into that hairstyle into something fabulous, so that you can start creating your own artwork in Canva, or you just reach out to clients and put a notice in your bathroom and just say, is there anybody coming to see me who's a graphic designer? I can barter some services. You design my card and create the template for me. But truthfully, in Canva today, you can find all the templates you want, but you want it to be something that is so inviting and shareable, that is very, very, very simple. Just a simple little postcard would be lovely. So that's where the game starts to change, because you're now making the full loop, and that makes it powerful. That is no push, no pressure, just quiet confidence, because here's the truth. People don't ask for referrals, but they love to give them when they feel proud. And I've taken a slogan here. I specialize in creating the right look for the right person, so you feel confident and seen, right? So you've got to find your voice, that is your message, that you feel, yes, this truly does capture what I feel. And I think that that's amazing. So yes, so powerful tool. So I just wanted to, as we're wrapping up, let you know that we're about to enter our next hair designer program, and it will be the last hair designer program that I will personally be hosting, and it will be starting in March. And we do 2 hours every week of live classes where we implement this. We break the bad habits, we implement this, and this is an amazing transformation. So for any of you, take a screen capture, any of you that want to join me on this very last journey. And this next hair designer program, we're going to be focusing a lot on how you can really build your brand and take the tools that I shared with you today and put them into practice. So Cosette is actually going through the current hair designer program. Would you like to share with your friends what you're learning now that you never learned before?
So between my program at school and my program with Vivian McKinder, I have learned so much. I've learned how to just not just cut hair, but to cut hair in a way that's going to make someone feel good. And I think that's the most important thing when it comes to our industry, is making people feel good about themselves. And Viv is going to teach you how to do that. I feel like at school I was definitely taught a lot, it's the technique, the technique, the technique. So when I first met Viv, I was very much a technician. So she's kind of driving me out of that technician spot into being more of an artist. And I think that's huge for me, because I do need to be more creative in my work.
Beautiful. Vicky, for you, you've been through the designer program.
Yeah, this is my 3rd year, and I really think you really took me from being stuck in that number 2, number 3 star stylist into a number 4, number 5. If it wasn't for this program, I would be bored behind the chair. Now I feel inspired all the time, and I think it really reflects in my clientele. And it's also opened so many doors for me professionally, education-wise, competition-wise, etc., etc. It made me become the stylist I always wanted to be. So thank you, Viv.
Oh, it's been a pleasure to watch you both. I mean, it's amazing to watch people be transformed. You see, in a TikTok moment, you just get a trick, and tricks to me don't build a career. There's nothing like rolling up your sleeves and just getting in and doing the work and getting the feedback, doing the work and getting the feedback. You need someone to help you keep score, and you need relevancy, and you need to keep moving on and staying fresh in our industry. And that's what's huge. So that is the hair designer program. You can apply. We're accepting, and we go on this amazing journey of working on our techniques. You can see here, I photojournal the work. I then teach you now how to turn it into art. And I know we've got some people here today whose work is being reflected on the screen. So we take it from dolly head, you can see here, from dolly head all the way over to a beautiful final look. I teach you how to do that so that you can have a portfolio. You can't build a portfolio on dolly, but the hair has not changed. And so I teach you how to do that. So here you can see little dolly head, and then how she was transformed into looking more human. Dolly head, the technique. Don't get me wrong, technique is extremely important. Transformation is important. And then obviously the final look. So these were all created during our virtual workshop, which is so much fun because you want to have something powerful. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that we're doing a bridal boot camp in March. It's 2 days, and that's going to be super exciting as well. And the big thing with that is face shape, balance, proportion. A bride, she's making a very powerful statement for the most photographed hairstyle of her life. And you want to get that right. So that's super, super important. So we're doing that. So any of you who want to join, we have one place left. If anyone wants to come into my studio and be with me, they have one place left. It's called Hot Seat. So you're literally part of the entire event and you're with me for 2 days. So if you're interested in that, there's one place left. I just want to say a huge thank you to you all today for being here with me. Let's pack this up. The 5 stars, knowing where you are on your journey, the years you're putting in, and the wisdom of how you're investing your time versus wasting time. The most tragic thing I hear in our industry is when someone comes and works with me and says, gosh, I just wish I'd known that 10 years ago. Oh, I wish I've been putting off coming to see you for that many years, and I just wish I'd known that sooner. There's no prize for struggling. And today there is so much information out there. The world doesn't need more information. It needs more wisdom, how you apply what you use. So we looked at the 5-star system today. Where are you? Where do you want to be? What are the roadblocks that are getting in the way? We looked at hairdressing is 80% psychology, 20% technique. When you understand the personality, the fashion, the femininity of that woman, you are unpacking how she feels. And maybe she's been shy of stepping into it. And you're now saying, you could do this. And sometimes the change is just in your blow dry. Sometimes the change is just in a parting because you're now studying and becoming an expert on face shape, knowing how to open, knowing how to close, voguing around the face, the selfie with your phone to think, I don't know whether that's going to be good. Let me take a picture this way and this way. This is the one that looks the best. And usually, this is what happens. Usually, I would say, actually 100% of the time, because I've done tests on this, when I show hairstyles, everyone gravitates to oval as the one they like. They don't gravitate to the pear because human beings love proportion. We love proportion and we love harmony and we love balance. It's a place where we feel safe, and safe is very important. A woman needs to feel safe, number 1, seen, number 2, and understood, number 3. Those are the values of a woman. She must feel safe in your hands. I feel safe because you spoke about the bohemian that I like. I feel safe because you were talking about it being feminine. That's what I like. I feel like you really understand me. Oh my gosh, I feel like you really understand me. And yeah, I wasn't prepared to have that much cut off, but you're right. I don't need to hang on to this anymore. It's like I need liberation, right? So the COVID hairstyles are the long hairstyles. For me, a mature woman, I don't like to see her hair below here. This influences face shape. This influences body type. So I'm very mindful on the fuller figured ladies to make sure that they're not boxed in the back. So I want to look at the whole person. Now, what does that client feel after she's been with that journey with me? She feels seen. She feels safe. She feels understood. She feels cared for. And isn't that what we're talking about? And that's all of this stuff. Now, the other part, the execution of it, I'm technically so strong, whether it be clippers, razor, whatever, so strong. That part, I got it covered. I need to know where my length is going to live, I need to know how much it's going to shrink. And I need to know that if I'm going soft and undone, it's probably going to be the razor. If it's going to be architectural and structured, it's probably going to be scissors or clippers, because that gives me strength. And I can lose a client by playing it safe and not making her edgy enough. And I can lose a client by making her too traditional when she wants the edge. I've got to meet her where she is. So if you think about how do I mirror back the words that are important to that person. And today I just want you to be aware of like, I'm living in my head right now. What would it be like to just get back into here? Because that strong voice that you have may be screaming out and hiding the other two voices of the heart and the gut. And they're there. The intelligence of the heart is so powerful, as is the intelligence of the gut. So powerful. They always say the head is full of nonsense, right? So today, just be aware of, because if you could allow the other just to come in and take a seat, and bring the other in and take a seat, and have all three playing in your sandbox, and know when to get into the head, know when to get into the heart. And if you are aware, they will naturally start to flow. They will naturally flow. So is there anything, my dear friends, you'd like to add to what I shared today? We went over time, and I do apologize, but this is the way it is, right? Give.
Just thank you so much. And Lily Flower, we look forward to seeing you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. So my friends, share this with as many people as you can, because it's all about bringing more people to help and empower our industry. And just remember, step into your gifts, step into your talent. And where there's a roadblock, ask, why is that there? How do I fix it? Or who can help me fix it so I can move forward into my greatness? And that's what it's about. Cosette, anything you'd like to share with anybody?
Just that I have grown so much from just looking from the technique to, the fashion part. And I think that when I literally last month, I didn't think fashion was as important in hairstyling as it is. So working between the fashion and the hair, I've learned so much. And I think that's a huge part of our industry.
Yeah. And you think about this, my friends. When you go and buy a pair of shoes, do you match it to an outfit? Like if you're wearing hiking boots, is there a chance you could be possibly wearing some jeans or some athletic attire? Kind of goes together, right? If you were wearing a sexy high heel, would you not put something very specific to it? If you were to change your client to a beautiful silver color and she's been in a warm tone, wouldn't you be talking to her about an eyebrow change of color? Wouldn't you be talking to her about a different lip color? Wouldn't you be talking to her about different accessories? Because maybe at one time the golds look great with her copper hair and now she's silver. She needs cooler tones. Isn't that just like shoes? When you meet somebody, do you go, hi, how are you? And you look at their feet? No, we look at the face. The face wins over shoes. But the shoes have an identity and they're part of fashion. Hair is exactly the same. Hair is a vital accessory to the ever-changing world of fashion. And you should know fashion. You should know style. You're in the fashion industry. You're in the beauty industry. You're in the fashion industry. You're in the psychology industry. You are in so many businesses. To be a 5-star hairdresser, I've spoken to you today from a 5-star perspective. I've spoken to you about how we think to do what we do. And why do the jobs come to me that they have throughout my entire career? Because I played at that level with those type of people. But you've got to have a different thought process. So today is spring cleaning. We get rid of stuff that doesn't serve us. We start bringing in principles that do. The consultation form that we use in all of my training is doing all the heavy lifting, is doing all of the questions, not on your time. You take the form and you process it, and then you affirm that you're on the right page, and off you jolly well go. It will build your business quicker. It'll take you to where you need to go faster than you can possibly imagine. Does it need practice? Of course it does. Do you need to learn it? Yes, you do. Do you then need to make it your own? Absolutely. So I have unpacked the keys to the kingdom, and I promise you, nobody teaches this. Nobody. They're all teaching technique. And you think, I'll learn another technique. Great. But if you don't get this part right, you've done a beautiful piece of art on someone who hates it. Doesn't fit their body, doesn't fit their face shape, etc., etc. So I hope that you can process this, come back and watch it again. For our members, come back and watch it again, time and time again. And I hope that this helps you. All right, mate. Thank you so much, Vicky, for being here today. And congratulations on all you're doing with Wella and the family there. Amazing. Cosette, I am thrilled that you're in my life. It's an honor to mentor you. And I expect you to accelerate through that curve. I'm expecting you to give out those business cards with every guest, and you will grow exponentially in a way that you can manage. And anytime you shortcut that consultation, you will pay the price. Thank you, my friends. Have a blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.